to my point, I'm not judging it. I'm not judging it. But I liked about the film and what I thought was interesting was that it's almost like saying principles don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
none of you got principles.
Yeah.
None of you got principles because in the end, it's about opportunity. Really recognizing you got an opportunity and then trying to make the most out of it, and getting somewhere. Basically, you know what I mean.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Devil Wears Prada, 2006, follows Andy Sachs, played by Anne Hathaway, an aspiring journalist who takes a job as a junior personal assistant to Miranda Priestly, played by Meryl Streep, the icy, demanding editor-in-chief of Runway fashion magazine. Andy struggles to survive the toxic high fashion environment, but ultimately compromises her personal life, relationships, and values to succeed before realising the high cost of ambition and choosing to walk away. That pretty much sums up the whole film.
That pretty much sums up the whole film, doesn't it? Yeah. I thought it was an enjoyable watch. I've seen it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I think when I first watched it, I just watched it as just something to watch, and it had like a bit of a 90s sort of feel to the pacing of the movie, you know, in terms of the arc. You've got somebody that comes in and they're a certain way and then they go through a change.
Yeah.
And then they realise the change wasn't the best thing for them, then they sort of walk away. So you got that sort of level of it. Watching it again, sort of a bit more analytical. Not very nice characters in there. I kind of think it's like almost like an anti sort of liberal. So they're almost like this liberal, cool set of people that live in New York, and they've got these ideas about who they are and what they want to achieve.
Who's that, the fashion people?
No, the friends.
Oh, the friends. Yeah.
And it's almost like we're going to destroy that. We're going to expose you to be fake. So the fakest people in it, really, is her and her friends, apart from her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is actually the only realist character. The boyfriend and Miranda, they're probably the two realist characters. They know who they are. Yeah.
Do you think? That's interesting.
I think Miranda knows who she is.
Yeah.
Fully. And she knows the game. She's cold, she's ruthless.
Yeah.
She knows who she is. And I think Nate knows who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're both uncompromising in terms of who they are. But everybody else bends and changes. I think Andy is, like, before you think, oh, am I rooting for Andy? But as I watch it, I kind of think, yeah, you're the way this film's set up. It's almost like we're exposing you, Andy, and your value system and your beliefs. You've come here arrogantly, thinking that you're this one thing. You're a writer. You're here to. You're super intelligent. You're here to do real work, real honest, gritty work. I don't need fashion. I'm going to wear these clothes that are just assembled really, really quickly, and I'm going to stick to my principles. But very, very, very quickly, within the first week or whatever it is of you working there, you change. Matey boy gives you a pair of shoes. Yeah, it's almost like, this. We're going to expose that you're not really who you are. So here's a pair of shoes. She wears the pair of shoes, and then the next thing is, she's so desperate to please, she's happy to throw away all of her principles just so she can get that pat on the back from that almost like that standoffish, abusive authority figure, which is Miranda. Yeah, so it's like if you had multiple opportunities to quit even from the first day, the first week. It's like you don't need this. This isn't you. You can walk away, but because she's so desperate to win and to please, she'll throw away all her principles to be able to have this career that she didn't really want in the first place.
Yeah.
And so then you see her change very quickly. She's starting to, first off, she's all taking the mickey out of all of them, and I don't understand these belts and all this sort of stuff. And then she starts to become more and more caught up in it. She's more and more caught up in it. She's more and more caught up in the trivia of it all, and the trivia becomes big. And then she has that crying fit with I forget his name now, the bald guy, saying, "Oh, she's not acknowledging my work," sort of thing. And then matey boy she goes, you know, basically dress me. Yeah, I want to impress. Basically, what she's saying. And then she comes in and they have the you know the walk in and she's all dressed in the stylish clothes and all that sort of stuff. And you can see that she's beaming because she's like,
it almost felt like, you know, remember in Pretty Woman?
Yeah.
Where the other guy, you know, takes her out and tells her how to become like a woman. Yeah. And then when heads turn, because she's beaming because she knows that she's like won him over.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same with this as well.
Yeah. And it was interesting because it's like it's saying, you know, all you people that sort of think you know more, you think that you've got these principles, you think you've got your political beliefs, you think you know who you are, when really you just you're too scared to play the game.
Yeah.
But if you play the game a little bit, all of a sudden you're gonna want what we have. And like she says it in the car, like you know, this is a bit of a clumsy sort of assessment, but like there's a bit in the car near the end where Miranda says everybody wants to be like us. You know? Yeah. And she's like, oh no, I don't want to be like you, sort of thing. But you spent the whole film trying to be like her. You know what I mean? You did everything.
But this thing, I see, but I agree with you, but then I kind of like differ a little bit on that. So just going back to it, it's actually loosely based on someone's memoir. So it was based on Lauren Weisberger's 2003 bestseller. And that was about her relationship with Anna Wintour, the real Miranda of.
I don't know who these people are.
You know Vogue magazine?
I know Vogue. I've heard of Vogue. I don't know who Anna Wintour is. Wintour. Yeah,
she's Wintour.
Wintour.
Yeah.
What? Tour.
Yeah.
Wintour. Okay.
Yeah.
What does she do?
She's like the Miranda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was, and it was about her over those few months. It was a few months, I think, or
yeah.
Yeah, about her, working alongside Anna Wintour.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah. And then it was actually before it was even printed, it was developed by 20th Century Fox before the novel had finished, and they bought the rights to it. And then it became a sleeper hit of that year in 2006, going against Superman Returns.
Yeah, it's better than Superman Returns as an enjoyable, watchable film.
I remember
Superman Returns was a disappointment. That was.
Yeah, I remember that summer, because when Superman Returns came out, it was like that was the film that was supposed to be the film of the summer, like that was going to be the blockbuster film of the summer, and then all of a sudden, Devil Wears Prada came out that same weekend, and kind of just took the wind out of its wings. It didn't come to number one or anything, but it took a lot of the box office away from Superman Returns.
Yeah.
And it also made similar money worldwide, like the ultimate, like the gross of it. I think it made like 325 million worldwide against a $35 million budget. And I think Superman was a $200 million movie and made about 390 million. So this was a lot more profitable. But for whatever reason, I didn't want to watch it because I was a bit peed off, because like, how can it, like, it just went against Superman.
Loyal to Superman.
Yeah, I don't know why, because Superman Returns is crap.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I agree with you in the sense that I think, I thought it was really interesting in the sense that I saw the themes of friendship, ambition, sacrifices that you have to make. I think her friends, and especially the part where they were like throwing her phone around. I don't know whether you've ever experienced this as well, where you feel like you've outgrown groups of friends. You know, your way of life, your way of thinking, and even your career. And when you're around these group of friends, it's almost like they need to bring you back to that position or that character you were to fit in with them. And when you don't align with that anymore, that throws them off. And then there's that jealousy and the kind of hatred, and that's when the kind of bullying comes in.
Yeah, I see your point, but I think that kind of falls apart a little bit, because the friends, like when she comes and starts handing out gifts.
Yeah, but that's the same scene, isn't it?
She hands the bag to the friend or whatever. Yeah, like the friend, like straight away it's like, oh yeah, I love this bag. You know what I mean? Like this amazing bag or whatever. And obviously that guy, I forget his name, the friend, he just knows all about fashion and stuff. When he's like an analyst or whatever, but he knows all about fashion and everything else. So it's like, at the same time they're taking the mickey, but actually they love the
Fashion, yeah.
they love the spoils. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just as fickle. It's only the boyfriend Nate who sees all the crap, who sees the superficiality of it all. But then again,
but he doesn't want to grow. So that's where the argument comes, where he's happy be in his lane, but he wants her to stay in the same lane as him.
I don't really see it that way because she's been given the wrong signal. So if she said from the very beginning, I want to work in the fashion industry and I want to smash it in this industry.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get into this industry. And oh my God, I've got my dream job. I'm working with Miranda and this is my dream job and I'm going to go and make it. Then you could probably say your argument's right because she always wanted that job. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact is, throughout the whole thing, they're all saying it's a job that she never really wanted. So she threw away her principles and started to change massively to try and impress, you know what I mean, and change. So the signal she gave to him is, oh no, my dream is I want to be a writer. I'm still doing this, but this is like a stopgap I'm just doing so I can try and get ahead and become a writer. So for the signals that he's getting is, oh, you're still the person that I know that doesn't want to change, sort of thing. That wants the principled writer, the person who's fresh out of university, wants to be this great journalist. Oh, that's the person that I'm in love with. Okay, that's just who we are. That's who we are as people. Not this fickle person who dresses up and is all, trying to impress this superficial person called Miranda. You know what I mean? And there's little checkers throughout the films there where she meets that Christopher guy who's another journalist, another writer, and he sort of tries to pull her back, trying to challenge her a little bit, like saying, "Oh, Miranda's horrible. Why are you working for that person?
Yeah.
Like, she's horrible." And then she has to then defend her.
Yeah.
Because she's part of it. She's become part of the cabal or whatever you want to call it.
But don't you think? I mean, we all went through that coming out of university, and in our mid-20s, where we had principles, and we wanted to pursue a career in our chosen fields and all that, and we couldn't. And for a lot of us, we couldn't, and we took a job or a career path that we just thought was going to be a stopgap.
Yeah. So this is my point. I'm not judging it. But what I liked about the film and what I thought was interesting was that it's almost like saying principles don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
none of you have got principles.
Yeah.
None of you got principles because in the end, it's about opportunity, recognizing you got an opportunity and then trying to make the most out of it and getting somewhere, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and what I thought was interesting is that her and her friends, we're looking at them and saying, yeah, you guys think you're one thing, but actually you're the other thing.
Yeah.
And Miranda knows it.
Yeah, she knows it because she says it in the speech right at the beginning about the belts.
Yeah.
She's like, why are you criticising it? Because it all trickled down to you lot.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to wear it without even knowing that we were at the top.
But this is my thing. I mean, it links to when number 2 comes out, and I'll be interested to see how they do it. But because Miranda knows who she is, Miranda knows who Andy is, right? So Miranda says it right at the car at the end of the last few scenes, which says, "I can see a lot of myself in you, and if you want to get ahead, this is the sacrifice. This is what you have to do. You have to be ruthless, sort of thing." So she gets out the car, she's off, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm going to go and do this thing." So I'll be interested to see in number 2 whether she stayed on that path of "I'll see you later. I don't want to have nothing to do with you." But I imagine they probably, because there wouldn't be a film, would there?
Yeah.
She probably in some ways come back into that fashion industry or whatever. I don't know what the premise is, but it'll be interesting to see what path, because I don't know whether they're going to set it just a few months after or they're going to set it a few years like now. So it's like a few years later.
It'll have to be a few years later because it's 20 years since the last one.
Yeah, so then who is she now? You know, has Andy... It'll be interesting, actually. Has Andy gone on to be this principled journalist who writes principled articles, or has she become a ruthless fashion boss? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because and then, with Miranda, because Miranda will be 20 years older and stuff as well. She must be like... She's probably... They're trying to get rid of her or something, you know what I mean? She must be at the end of it all, Yeah. What is a play there? Because like I said, if they've been smart with it, they'd have kept those themes in terms of Miranda knows who she is. And she's been in the game a long time, and she recognises herself in Andy. So does Andy actually become like a Miranda, basically? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In number 2, because what's the arc? Is it like Miranda's going to be? I mean, Andy's going to be like oh, I've come back into it, but now I've learned again it's a wrong thing and I'm going to go and become a principal journalist. No, it's 20 years later, you've got a 20-year career now, you know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Who are you going to be? Who are you? You know what I mean?
But I think this is what I liked about it was just the fact that it had the themes. I mean, to be fair, if you break it down, it's a run of the mill fish out of water comedy, you could call it, where they're not fit for that society, and then they assimilate, and then they realise what they're doing wrong, and then they go back to the old friend.
Yeah, it felt like a 1990s movie.
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
even before that, 80s and 50s.
What was that one? Was the Sigourney with Eva, where it's like she's it's not they're like she's working in the city or something.
Working
and she
girl.
breaks her leg. Working girl, yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of like
Melanie Griffith.
Yeah, it had a bit of a vibe to that. You know what I mean?
It
Where
did.
she's, you know, she has to change and try and assimilate.
There's so many films.
You
It
know,
reminded me of I haven't seen this in a long time, but for some reason I was thinking of that Michael J. Fox film, Secret of My Success.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, and it's just about, you know, you work your way up and then you get kind of corrupted and blinded by the fame or the power or the money and all that, and then you forget about your roots, and then you have to you have that moment, that pivotal moment where you just take a step back, you realise what you're doing wrong, and you either go forward or you turn back, and then you go back to all the people who, you know, the good people who kept you, you know, on track and stuff. So I thought that was interesting. I thought I feel like a lot of people go through this about ambition and sacrifices that you make, and I think a lot of the successful people, the uber successful people and athletes and stuff like that, they're the ones who've sacrificed friends, family, and their own lifestyle to achieve this goal. And then the question is, at the end of it, was it worth it? And I think you get that with three characters. You get it with Andy, you get it with the Stanley Tucci character, and you get it with Meryl Streep's character, Miranda, right? And there are three different parts of the cycle where you've got Meryl Streep at the end. It's just like, this is what you have to do if you want to get ahead. And this is what I did. I've had a failed divorce. I'm going through another divorce. I'm going to push through. Plus the fact that I'm a woman, I'm going to show everyone, you know, they could go fuck themselves because you wouldn't treat a man like this. All of that stuff. So I'm going to be cold. I'm going to be ruthless, but that's the only way I have to survive. I'll throw people under the bus. And she does that with Stanley Tucci character. Then you got him who's like 18 years he's given to Miranda, where he's literally sacrificed everything for her, and he's just been conditioned to the way he is. And the moment where he thinks he's out, she keeps him and she gives the job. She gets that other woman to go to with that other fashion brand, right? And now you got Andy, who's at the start of that career, that start of that path, and she then looks at all of this and just thinks, do I really want to go down this path? No, I don't. And I found that was interesting, those three characters. And then you got the Emily character by Emily Blunt, who's ruthless, who will end up being that Meryl Streep character because she wants it more so badly, but she doesn't have the
self-awareness.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a really good assessment. I totally agree with you. I think they're like the three driving characters of the narrative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a really, really good assessment. And I think I guess the tragedy is with Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci's character.
Yeah, because he's more than an errand boy, but his happiness is like has taken a back seat for so long.
Yeah. He's the one that you identify with the most, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because you just think, if anyone I want to succeed, it's him, because he's putting the hours, he's putting the time.
Yeah, and also even though he is a bit of a prick, he's not. You can understand. You understand him more. Mm-hmm. You understand why he's like the way he is. But I do think with Andy's character, and I know it's a film, and we have to watch the film, and we have to go through the process. Like I said, it'd be interesting to see how they do number 2. But I'm dubious, skeptical about whether she completely threw all walked away from that world.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a big part of her that liked that world.
Oh yeah, you get.
There's a big part of her that he liked. He admired Miranda.
Yeah.
And wanted to be like her.
Yeah.
But in that moment in the car, it scared her that she was becoming like her, because I think the words were, I see a lot of myself in you, and I think that probably scared her, you know, because it's like,
you just had two marriages.
Yeah. You know, she's seeing all the darkness around her.
I think the main thing was the fact that she threw Stanley Tucci's character under the bus, and she couldn't understand why you would do that when he deserved that role.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point for her. It's just, do you have to go dark? And that's a lot. If you look at the sports industry, you look at the entertainment industry, the fashion industry, any kind of creative industry, music industry, there's a lot of stabbing in the back.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of ruthlessness that you have to go through. I mean, you don't have to, but a lot of people go through to survive.
Yeah, you do. You do. I mean, it's clear, isn't it? That sort of abnormal success.
Yeah.
You know, it comes at a price, isn't it? It comes at a price, but they want it. You know, don't they? They want it.
How much you want it.
And like you say, with sportsmen, you have to be very, very selfish. I mean, many a sportsmen have said that. Many are great, like especially Olympians, because Olympians, I think, they're the sort of sportsmen who they do live normal lives in the sense that they're not famous. Yeah, they're not millionaires. They get sponsored, but they have to have these sort of like normal lives, normal relationships. But they're doing the most self-centered thing. You know what I mean? So they can get that Olympic gold, or at least be on the podium.
Yeah.
And they say, you know, you sacrifice your family and you don't see your kids and all that sort of stuff, but you're going for that Olympic gold, you know. And if you get the gold, then was it worth it? Probably, to a point. Yeah. You know, but your career is only very, very short, isn't it? And then you spend some time trying to make up for it. And then again, you get even people who are sports and making a lot of money. They, in the end, you know, you're making the money, aren't you? You know, you're changing your family's life just by doing the endeavour. Yeah,
you're changing your family's lives, but at what cost? Do you know what I mean? It's like the most successful people have, in most cases, the worst family backgrounds, where, you know, divorces, the kids don't want to know them. You could look at any one of these CEOs or mega rich person or really successful musician or filmmaker, and in most cases, they've got the worst family backgrounds. And it's because of the sacrifices or the ruthlessness, the coldness.
Not all though. It's not all.
In most.
Is it though? Really?
Yeah.
Is it though? If you analyse it, is it though? Because I know I'm.
And a lot of them will say later on in their life or career, I regret not spending more time with my kids. I regret not spending more time with my wife or trying to save my marriage.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you put it into too much of a very neat box there. I don't think it's that like that. I think it's dependent on the individuals, and like the endeavour has created the life that he's given to the family. You know what I mean? And I think there's many reasons why some families don't work or they fall apart. And to put it just down to the individual's career choice, because it's like if they didn't have that career choice, none of you would be comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so there's a level of that, and there's musicians that you can see who've got good relationships. They might have had divorces, but you know, people get divorced, but they've got good relationships with their kids. You know what I mean? Their kids are okay.
Who?
I'm a big fan of Oasis. You see, like Noel Gallagher and stuff. He's got a really good relationship with his kids. You know what I mean? And he's been divorced a couple of times, and his kids seem to be fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and he was a rock star doing all this stuff. You know what I mean? And there's others as well. I don't think it's always the case, really.
I'm not saying it's always the case. I'm saying in most cases, in a lot of cases, if you look at people in the industry who want to be successful, there's sacrifices that they choose to make. And some of those times they sacrifice family life. In most cases, you sacrifice family and friends to achieve that.
Yeah, well, you do.
And you see that with her.
They want to, and like I say,
she's doing that. You see her, Andy's path, where she's started to do that, and her friends don't like that, and they start mocking her over it. But then that's
the thing. The friends did my head in. I'll be honest with you. I found the friends a bit annoying. The only guys I respected was Nate. I liked Nate because Nate knew who he was, and he weren't changing.
I thought Nate was the worst one out of the three of them, because obviously, like, he's a other half and everything. But I just thought at that point, friends were haters in a sense because they're
Yeah,
not.
but they took the presents, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they took the presents, so they were hating on her.
So I don't respect that.
Yeah, I didn't respect them because, like I said, they were mocking her.
Yeah, they're mocking her, but they took the presents,
but it was about growth, isn't it? So they didn't. It's almost like they didn't want to see her grow as a person or as in her career, regardless of what they thought about it. They wanted her to stay in her lane and be that character within their friendship group, and you see that a lot with our own friendship groups. Like you outgrow people.
I think there is that. There was a bit of that, but I think you can also say that because she had always taken the piss out of it.
Yeah,
they were taking the piss out. Oh, look at you. You were one thing, and now all of a sudden you're becoming something else. And friends, it's friends' job to ground you, innit? It's friends' jobs to bring you back to reality when you think you're getting all above your station.
But she wasn't though. She was like just working hard.
Yeah.
If she was acting arrogant
in a job she took the piss out of, and didn't really want, and now all of a sudden, so when she made that switch in her mind to like, now I really want this job, and now I really want to impress, she didn't really let all of her friends and everyone around her know, Yeah, but she was still giving the wrong signals, you know what I mean?
But it'd be one thing if she was like saying, you know what, we did this and we did that, and she was being all like blasé and arrogant about her lifestyle. That'd be one thing. Then you'd be like, yeah, you're right to kind of bring her down, ground it. But she wasn't doing that. She was like, look, I'm really sorry. I'm doing this. Oh shit, there's a phone call. I need to take this phone call. Yeah. She did. But I think it sounded like it's a lot of it is around something like she would have said was trivial. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like they're all like, oh, look at you with your job that now you're a fashion person. You know what I mean? Because to them, she's not that. Yeah. She was never that. She was something. The principled writer who wore sort of frumpy clothes and didn't really care about fashion. Yeah. And she very, very quickly changed, because I think she's more, she cares more about being successful and pleasing than she does about her principles, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think anyway. Well, you think that she's more of a people pleaser?
Yeah, I think she's one of these people where there's an authoritative figure who's the boss. Yeah. And she's so desperate to please that she's willing to throw it all away, throw what she believes in, just so she can get that adulation. Yeah. So she changes the way she dresses. She goes on these stupid errands, these ridiculous errands. Go and get the manuscript for a Harry Potter book and all this sort of stuff, and got to give me my coffees and it's got to be a certain temperature and everything else. You know what I mean? She throws it all away because she just wants to get that. Oh, I want that good report. I want that gold star.
Yeah, was it her wanting the gold star, or was it her seeing it as a challenge, saying, I'm not going to let her kill me. I'm not going to let her beat me?
There may be a bit of that. Yeah. There may be a bit of that. There may be a bit of her saying, I don't want to let her beat me.
Because that's what it came across to me, was just, it was more to do with, I'm not going to let her put me down. I'm not going to let her get the better of me. I'm going to prove to her.
But why does she care?
Yeah, so this is the question.
But this is my point, you know what I mean? If it's somebody that, in a world that you couldn't care less about, in a world that you don't respect, then why would you care what this ridiculous boss is trying to get you to do? You know what I mean? Because you've got your principles and you believe in, you're a journalist and all this, but it's actually, and it's...
it comes down to there's part of it you want to please and you want...
It's quite snobby in the end as well, actually, because there's like a little thing where she has that new boss who says, "Oh, why did you have this blip in the fashion industry or that thingy magazine?" Yeah. And she says, "Oh, I just I needed to." She says something like, "I need to try something different or whatever," and then I messed it up, sort of thing. Yeah. But there's this snobbiness in journalism. Yeah. It kind of come across like, what you're doing that for? You should be you're trying to be a proper journalist. You're going to write for some crappy magazine. When actually, the fashion people, like I think Miranda said at the beginning, like you said when she was talking about the belts, is like all of you are influenced by fashion because it all comes down to you. So you'll stick your nose up at it, but actually this is
what I've been thinking about.
Dictates everything.
And even with us, I mean, we feel the same way about fashion as well. The whole fashion industry is a bit pretentious and stuff. But then can you argue the case that it's just another form of creativity and we're creative? So, it's no different from another group of people who are looking down on the music industry or the film industry. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
I don't like the super. I mean, I'm talking
superficial.
The superficiality of it all. Yeah. But you are right. Clearly, fashion is important because we all have a sense of our own fashion, or a version of fashion.
And if you think about it, she did have a point when she says about the whole belts, it all seeps down and all that. We are, whether we like it or not, influenced by latest trends and everything. Whether we go with it or not, what we wear and what we do and how we style ourselves is influenced ultimately by the fashion industry, right? So isn't it not another form of creativity? So even though we're mocking it and we look down on it and the superficiality, I guess why I think I don't like it is because of the pretentiousness, how they think it's like solving, famine or something.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's too superficial, where you're spending hundreds of thousands of pounds on dresses when kids are dying, when you could just use the money for one dress to feed a whole fucking area.
I know, but they don't care about that.
Yeah, but they don't care about that. But it's just, should we look at that? Because then if you look at it from that point of view, then you can argue the same case against films as well. Why are you spending $300 million on a movie when you could use that $300 million and eradicate, I don't know, some kind of disease somewhere?
Yeah, no, I totally.
So it's
I agree with you, but the world don't care.
Yeah. So my argument is like,
and we're all got our hands dirty.
Yeah. So are we not hypocritical in the sense that we're happy we don't look at the film industry or the music industry or the sports industry in the same light as fashion, because we just think, that's pretentious, but they're no different to each other.
No, that's a fair assessment. I think, yeah, they're all guilty of superficiality, and they're all guilty of, spending money on things that aren't really that important. I mean, you could say it. I mean, it might be sacrilege for me to say it now, but like football, what is football? Yeah. It's like, what's it? 22 dudes chasing after a ball of air. Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah, that's essentially what it is. Look at the amount of money, the amount of passion, the amount of emotion that's all around it. Yeah, people are crying and up and down for it, but you're just chasing the ball of air, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's just like it's just one of them ones where you just kind of think, in the end, if human beings place value on something, it becomes valuable. Yeah, and then everybody wants to chase it. But human beings, we're a crazy species. We're a crazy species, and the things that we put on a pedestal, are always never that good for any of us, really, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
End, So,
but then at the same time, what kind of world would we be living in if we say we prioritize and the money used was for these important issues? What else do we do in our free time?
Yeah, well,
and the Meryl Streep character, she actually does say, these people that you're criticising, this industry that you're criticising, it gives jobs to however many people, and it feeds all of these people, and it does all of these things. So you're mocking this, but this is what it does, and it seeps back down to you guys. So what the fuck do you think you're doing? Yeah,
you could probably say that about the tobacco industry as well, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they give jobs to people, or the arms industry, innit? You know what I mean? Like,
that's a very, very good point.
People got jobs off there, you know what I mean?
I think,
it's all muddy, isn't it?
It's all muddy, and it's just like the sports industry could say that, and the film industry could say that. It all comes down to what value do you give what to? Yeah,
basically, yeah. Where your principles are as an individual.
Yeah, where are your principles? What kind of value do you give to? It's whatever you feel valuable, what you make sense of, that's what you're going to focus on, isn't it?
Yeah. And also as well, whatever industry you become into, there's a level of, I want to be good at my job.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that job is, and I want to do well, right? So you end up doing whatever you need to do to become good at your job and to do well. So it's about, where are my principles and what do. So for instance, like we saying about the arms industry, for instance, if you've got a choice between no job and starving on the street to having a job in the arms industry and feeding your family and becoming successful, it's a really crap choice in a way. Yeah. From outside looking in, but that's the choice. What you're going to take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with fashion. Same with all these things where it's not great, but it provides. Yeah. And you can be good at it. So crack on. Yeah.
I think she was blinded by the fact that she was saying to herself, I've given myself 1 year, and if I survive this, I then have the choice to work with whatever publication I want to work with. That was what it was, wasn't it? And then the other writer that she has that love kind of entanglement with, he's saying the same thing, freelance, you could do this, you could do that. So she's almost blinded by it all.
She's blinded by it all. The only thing that confused me a bit was she wasn't really writing, was she? So it's like, if I work here for a year, you're an assistant making coffee and running around doing errands. You're not writing. If you're writing, then you might be like, I'm writing for the magazine, so I'm writing articles in the magazine. That makes sense. Then you're going to go.
But she didn't have time to write because she was just on beck and call.
Yeah, but she was just an assistant, isn't it? Yeah. So, but then I know she got the great reference and everything else. But if her thinking was, I just got to survive for a year, then I can work in any other place, doing what then? Because you're not actually writing. You're making coffee and seeing these little weird twins that.
Yeah.
Just like, they're going to grow up to be like the worst people.
Oh, fucking.
Like they want the manuscript to a book that it's just like the worst people.
I'll be like, oh, go fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
wait like everyone else.
Go to bed, you little shit. You know what I mean? Like, what's the matter with you? You know what I mean? They're just like, oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
So this is what happens when you have absent parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just got their nanny and they could do what the fuck they want.
Exactly. Yeah, it just felt like they're going to grow up to be horrible people. And but the mum's not great either. I mean, she's great at her job, but she's great.
But that's what I was going to go to. Is like, what? Because there was a bit where you see her drop her guard, and you see like kinks in the armor. When that moment where she's teary and she's realizing that she's going to go through that divorce, you almost see the human side of her, and then you just. Well, I kind of like felt for her a little bit. I know you probably didn't, but I know you didn't. I felt for a little bit because I was just thinking, what she would have had to go through in that industry and through her career almost had to be a bit of a cold-hearted bastard. Even more so because she was a female and she was in a world where men, and even to this day, men always get a second chance at stuff, but women don't. Not at that level. They don't get that chance. You're basically in career jail if you fuck up. So she has no time or space to fuck up. She can't afford to fuck up. So it means I'll sacrifice my family and throw people under the bus because I want to prove to everyone else that I could succeed. I could be this person.
Yeah, but
at what cost?
There is that, but also once you're there, you got every opportunity to change it.
Yeah,
you got every opportunity to be something different, to be the first one. But you don't. You just become one of them. But at the worst one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if your whole thing is I'm a woman and I want to be a trailblazer and I want to break into this industry, which is literally about fashion, which is mainly for a lot of women, but it's clearly got men behind the gears sort of thing. You got a chance to be something different. Why then not try and change the culture? Because you set the culture in that place. You could be more compassionate. You can be more understanding. But you don't want to be that,
because
obviously, you're saying everyone's fat if they're a size 6 or whatever, and look at these people with their crappy clothes and stuff like that. You just become the worst version of it all, sort of thing. So I don't have sympathy for you, and I don't think you really want my sympathy, but I don't have sympathy for you. And you know who you are, and I think you know what you're about in terms of your career. And I don't know the dynamics of a relationship, and I don't know what type of person she's attracted to, or the type of man she's attracted to in terms of his personality. But if you're the big boss all the time, do you want to have some sort of sub guy at home, or do you want to have someone who's on equal footing? I imagine if you get challenged, that type of personality, they don't like to be challenged, because it's like the best character entrance. I mean, we'll have to talk about different character entrances, but it's one of the best character entrances I've seen in terms of, in that 10 seconds, we're going to show you who this person is. Yeah. And you know who this person is from the moment she walks in, the way everyone's running around her, the way she chucks her coat down, the way she talks really, really quickly but at a very, very gentle tone, and she's very, very clear what she wants, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Right by the end of that, you know who she is. She's the big boss, and no one ever challenges her, So imagine that at home. Is she like that at home? Yeah. Does she want someone to be intellectually as on the same plane as her? or does she want someone who's just going to be a yes person? I doubt she wants a yes person because she walks all over them because she's a bully, right?
Yeah.
So she's probably got someone who's a bit more equal footing, and it sounded like he was standing up for himself, and she doesn't like that as well. So it's inevitable she's not going to be in a relationship with that type of personality. That's how it came across to me anyway.
I feel like because I've been listening to a few or watching a few podcasts where they talk about the dating industry and the fact that women now find it very, very difficult to find someone to settle down with because there's no equal footing anymore.
Okay.
Because the status, they've got jobs and positions that are a lot higher than the men that they're attracted to.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult to find someone who's at a higher status or an equal status to them.
Yeah.
So they're finding it very, very difficult. So I would imagine that she would have had to settle because she wouldn't have, either, like you said, find someone who's way above and doesn't like the authority, or someone who's slightly below because he's nowhere near like the financial or status that she's at. And in a way, that then she's not attracted to because he's a bit of a simp. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. I mean, we can only speculate because they didn't really show that part of her life. But
and now's the only time. This is the first time he's actually standing up to her, saying, "I'm like this."
Yeah, I mean, it does. I just find it interesting with a character like that. What is, unless she's completely different at home, and it's
which
just like
she didn't sound like.
It just didn't sound like it to me. That I just think could you imagine though? Yeah, the level of power you have.
Yeah, she never switches off.
You walk into a building and you've got people running around trying to get you your coffee that has to be a certain temperature from a certain place, and then you want it on your desk at a certain time, and you're walking in and you're chucking your coat and you're saying who's that, and you're not saying you don't have to be nice to anyone, but everyone's all like oh yeah you're the best, you're the best. Can you imagine the level of how puffed out your chest would be, and how you start to think that you are the god in that place?
Actually, you know what?
How could you not be like that in life?
Yeah, well, I take back what I said a few minutes ago about sympathising with her because she's a twat.
Yeah, I mean,
when you put it like that,
it's like
because no one at that point. There's no one to challenge her and say, "Listen, you don't talk to people like that. You used to have a level of respect for others, even if they're below you, right?"
Yeah.
Why do you need your coffee at this time at this temperature?
Exactly.
You can wait a fucking few minutes.
She wanted that steak.
Yeah.
Proper steak from where I imagine for some really expensive place. And she goes, "No, I'm not eating that," and just dashes it.
Yeah.
I want that manuscript. It best be on my desk. I want a plane to such and such. Yeah, but there's something called like a hurricane. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can't have your plane. You know what I mean? Well, I'm upset with you now, and that's what I thought. It kind of, kind of did piss me off about the Andy character because it's like. You're with your dad, you have some personal time with your dad, and then your idiot boss phones up, and she's not an idiot, but she's nasty. Your nasty boss phones up and says she wants a plane. You do everything, ruin your night, you can, to try and help this woman. And she just says, yeah, you disappointed me. You're a disappointment. Yeah. And then you're crying, you're upset. It's just like, what you been upset about this? But that's the moment she should have walked for me. That's the moment she should have said.
I think that's the point where she's like, you know what, I'm not going to let you break me.
Yeah, but that's why I think there was a little bit of a crossroads there where she said, she's like, oh, actually, I just want to please her. I want her to tell me that I'm really, really good.
Do you think at that point, that she was manipulated then at that point?
Yeah, I think it's almost like a, that sort of abusive relationship type thing where you've got someone who is not very nice to you, but when they're a little bit nice to you, it's everything.
Well, like gaslighting.
Yeah, gaslighting. I want to hold on to it. And it's like, I've got to please this person. I need recognition from this one person. I need this person to see me, She
wanted validation from the wrong person.
But when really, actually, you should be like, this person's an idiot. This person's a dick. I'm walking out. Like, I don't want to be here. I'm better than this. I don't need this. But she's like, oh, and then she goes and cries to Stanley's, and he's like, what are you crying for? And he's like, okay, I want to go and impress her then. I'm dressed in this way and make her want me, make her see that I'm so good. And it's
but
like,
that's
you're chucking your principles in the bin then.
He's like the mentor because he's like, I survived this. This is how you survive. Yeah. If you want to get through and survive to the point that I've survived, you have to do this.
Yeah, and she did it.
Yeah, she did it.
She so... Yeah, it was like a study of someone who is willing to throw their principles away for the chance of some warped idea of success. You know what I mean?
We haven't talked about the other two main characters, the Emily Blunt character, and what was his name? Jonathan.
Nate, you mean?
No, the journalist guy.
Christopher. Yeah. So Emily Blunt's character, I think she doesn't really. She hasn't got a level of self awareness. So she is basically all in for this lifestyle, and there's a weakness there where she will literally sell her soul.
Yeah.
For the pot of gold. I think there's a bit of there's a bit of principle that came through from Andy in the end where she wasn't going to go all in. Yeah. But we'll see what happens in number 2. But you know what I mean? There's a little bit where she wasn't going to go all in. Whereas Emily's like, she's the one. Like she'll sell it all, for a taste of it all. She'll sell it all. This is the life she wants, and she's willing to. Yeah. She will do whatever it takes. Not only eat a piece of cheese. I mean, like what? You know what I mean? Like I need to be super skinny and be all this. It's just like I will do whatever, and it's quite not to get too dark on it, but it's quite. You can see how, especially if it's like powerful men. Yeah. Where it was say the film industry, like the Weinstein guy and stuff, where you get. I'm not saying the victims were like Emily. I'm not saying that, but you can see where when someone's so desperate for this idea of a career, so desperate for it, how vulnerable they are to becoming manipulated.
Oh yeah,
abused,
we've seen this. We've heard stories for the last 100 years with the movie industry and the music industry. Especially with females, come over. How far are you willing to go to get the career?
So evil, isn't it? You know what I mean?
So fucking evil.
Because they're so desperate.
They call it the casting character.
Yeah. So you can see, with the Emily Blunt character, like I barely eat, and I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever I'm told. Because I just want this.
I want it. And then when you do get it, a lot of them they look back on it, it's like.
Yeah, but they're damaged by that point.
They're damaged.
Yeah, the soul is gone. They're damaged by that point because it's like, I literally gave it all away. Yeah. Everything I could just so I could get a piece of this idea of success. And it's and I think that's what her character is. I think her character is a tragic character in a way. It's she plays it quirky and she plays it really well in a quirky way, and she's funny. And they show a hint of like niceness there.
But it's almost like she plays the version of the character that majority of people are, within that industry.
Yeah.
And it takes Andy to come in and kind of pit herself against that so we could see what the industry is really like and and she has to see as well by having Andy there, like maybe a mirror to herself by the end of it. When she gets the clothes, she takes that step back and she gets like a slight bit of self-awareness of the type of character she is. Because Andy's kind, because she's like giving all these clothes. Yeah. And she didn't have to, because Emily wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, Emily wouldn't have done that. No, she wouldn't have done that. But she was, she was just like, set up to be mean and superficial, which she was and is. But she's also someone who like admired Andy in the end.
Yeah, because she was conditioned to think a certain way because she was kind of she was looking at Miranda as a poster. What is it called? Not poster child, but like her god.
Yeah.
And she was trying to emulate whatever Miranda was doing, and to her it's just okay. If Miranda's a bitch, I'm going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
And it's almost like she didn't have any self-awareness. She didn't have any of her own thoughts. She was told that this is what you have to do. This is what I'm going to do. It took Andy to make her think, all right, this is another girl who's taking a step back. She's just questioning everything. She's questioning why is the process the way it is? Why do people act the way they do? And it's by the end of it, she just gets that slight change that you see in her where she's thinking, but there's that bit of compassion in her right at the end. Not a lot, but just enough for you to think maybe she could change.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe there's part of Andy that's rubbed off on her. Yeah,
maybe, but I don't hold out any hope. I just think, she loves that industry so much. You can imagine she was been thinking about the industry since she was a kid. Yeah. And for her to become an assistant, she can imagine what she has to do to sort of stay there. A ridiculous amount. Yeah. And it's taking the insults every day. Running around getting the coffees and all that stuff, all that silly stuff about putting the book in the house and it's just nonsense. It's a nonsense job.
It is, but
Nonsense.
it unfortunately happens not only in the fashion industry, with any type of industry. You have assistants that that do stuff behind the scenes so you can function with your daily life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I find it fascinating though. I do find it fascinating because it's
at what, do you know what I mean? At what cost? It's like we've got a friend whose sister was a producer on The Apprentice, the British Apprentice, and he was telling me like she had no life. She'd be the last one to go to sleep, but the first one to wake up because she had to wake up, get the cameras, set up to film the contestants and stuff. And it just went on. She didn't have a social life. She didn't have a family life. And all that. In the end, she had to take a step back and get out of it. And now she's married. She's got a kid, and she's a lot happier. But at what cost? Before,
yeah.
But you don't know that when you're in your 20s. You're thinking, this is what I want to do, and I will do anything to do that.
Yeah, well, it must be. Yeah, it must be. But you can imagine if the film industry is probably the same as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
When you're, you look at any film, all the credits come up. You see all those people that have worked on that film or whatever. They've all made sacrifices to try and have that piece, to have their name on that screen or whatever. And it's the same sort of thing. There's behind it all the magic.
Yeah.
There's this workhorse industry of like hamsters on wheels, just trying to make it happen, sort of thing. And it's not glamorous.
It's not.
It's not exciting or anything. It's functional. It's industrial. It's these people working to a schedule, trying to make it happen. You can imagine setting up a scene.
Yeah.
And you've got the actors, the talent there, and they're coming on to do the scene, and we see the end product. It's all edited and color graded and all this sort of stuff, and it's amazing. It's like, wow, that's an amazing piece of work. But the amount of work, like 5 weeks of repetition of all the people trying to get that one action scene. You know what I mean?
I remember working on this Indian movie when I was 23. I was doing it for free for 2 weeks, and I was thinking, I'm doing this because it's going to get me a leg up. I'm doing this because it's going to get me a leg up. And I was just working stupid hours. I wasn't even getting any sleep. I remember at one point I had to get in my car, using my own fuel to drive the cinematographer to the airport to pick up a few cans of film and then drive back. And he knew that I was just nodding off. So he was keeping me awake by just talking to me. And at the end of it, I was thinking, I'm not getting paid for this. How many of these do I have to do to, become or get to that next step? And I remember getting off of that, and then I got a phone call from one of the guys working there. He's like, we're working on another film. Do you want to come work on it? You probably won't get paid as much, or probably paid nothing, but it will give you the next stepping stone to the next one. I was just like, yeah, I'm done. No, I'm good, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but a lot of people who want that, they're hungry enough.
They'd have gone all in.
Yeah, all in.
I remember you talking about that at that time. I remember saying to you, mate, you should have done it.
But
you know what I mean? Because
but you don't know where you would have been.
But you're right though. You're right. I mean, it's like our other friend who had had to work as a runner. You don't get paid for a long time. Before you can potentially get paid work, sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exploitation in those industries.
But that's why it's. Nepotism works because they're funded by
I know.
their
Annoyingly,
rich,
isn't it? That's how it works, isn't it?
rich or wealthy parents. So with our friend who was a runner, he had a payout from his previous job, so he was able to fund himself.
Yeah.
I didn't, and to be fair on him, he did. When I turned 25, he called me and he said, "Do you want to come work in this industry?" It was the documentary industry, but 3 months you're not going to get paid. And I was like, "Well, how can I do that when I've up to my fucking eyeballs in debt with credit cards and stuff? I can't afford to do that." So I had to just drop that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is what it is, isn't it? But we all look at the end product, but actually behind the scenes, it's so industrious. There's so many people trying to get ahead and getting used and exploited, and you go and get the coffee because it's like coming to America. First I was on the floor, then now I'm washing lettuce. Soon I'll be on the fries. That's when the big bucks start rolling. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's like you start off like I'm just making coffees right now. Maybe one day they might let me mic someone up. You know what I mean? And if I mic someone up, I might be able to then hold a camera. And then, you know what I mean? And you never know what I'll be doing. I'll be talking to the talent soon. And it's the same thing. You know what I mean? And everyone's just like, yeah, go on then. Go get me that coffee from that place. And be quick. Okay.
I'll get it.
Yeah. But it's the same like with music. I remember like, loads of people working in studios. That's how they all started. Like Neptunes and all that. They all started just working in studios like studio hands, you know what I mean? And then before you know it, they're doing the mics, and then they might be on the mixing desk, and now they can give some ideas and make a little beat at the end of the day when the session, when it's all over. Yeah. Oh, that beat's good. Oh, okay, bring it in. And then, but I remember another friend who was doing it, and there was a guy, producer that we had worked with, and he'd come from America. He's from the UK, but he went to work in America and made some good money and done quite well, worked with a few people. So when he kind of come back, he set up a studio doing his studio stuff, and then another friend was doing beats, making beats. So he'd say, go off and probably put like a melody line on that, or go and just muck about, put some drums, train the drums around a little bit, whatever. So he'd do all this work, make it really, really sound really, really good, give it back to him, but the guy wouldn't credit him. He'd say, well, this is mine. You know what I mean? So I'm going to put it out and it'll be mine, And he said, well, when am I going to get my credit for? He goes, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? When you're ready, you'll have something that we put out for yourself, but this is how it works. You know what I mean? Like if I ask you to do a melody line or whatever, it's under my production name. Yeah. And he weren't, to be fair to him, he wasn't having it, and he just sort of walked away, and they parted ways. But that is kind of how it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, you don't get any sort of credit for it. You're just there. Yeah,
I guess it's like the same as sometimes with the movie, you have not the assistant director, but the B-roll, where you got a second unit director while you're shooting the main stuff, another director shooting all these other little action pieces or all these other little shots or close-ups for you, but won't get credited as as a co-director. Yeah. But will only get credited as a second unit director instead. Yeah. So it's just it's the same thing, isn't it? It's just you're under the banner, you'll do as I say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But he's like you're saying about directors. So like the director gets the credit for the vision and all that sort of stuff, but he's not the one sitting there on Adobe Pro sort of trying to get the color grading 100% right, and you know what I mean, all the sound and making the sound, you know what I mean. He's not doing all that technical stuff.
All he's doing is just directing.
He's just saying, right, I want that scene, get it done. This is how it is, and then everybody else underneath him is doing all this stuff, and at the end of it, he gets his Oscar. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you might get a credit on the screen for how many hours I put in to get that sound right. You know what I mean? And I did the editing on that. I'm like, oh yeah, well you didn't get the credit. This director did. That's what makes me laugh, because I always think, you get like the Scorseses and stuff. There's no way his 80-year-old arse is sitting there doing all the technical stuff. No way. He's there chatting to the actors, doing all the fun stuff, and saying, "Oh, this is the vision and all that." But someone else has done all the writing and changed it round, and then he's got his editor. He's like, and even them, they probably got people underneath them.
They've got, because they're not going to take all the footage and cut it all together. They're probably getting someone else say, "I could put this together, get rid of all the crap bits, and then show it to me." Yeah,
exactly. And then I'll just do a little tinkering.
And then I'll show it to someone else.
Yeah. And that's how it works. That's how it works. So. Yeah, so coming back to this is to, she was just seeing how the industry really is, really. And it's like, I think she did throw away her principles for it, but that's the whole point of the movie, isn't it? She has to go through that arc. Corruption,
isn't it? You get blindsided and you get corrupted, and it's up to you to decide whether you're aware of that and you want to deal with that, or you just go full on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like that's the Christopher character is another version of that Andy, where he accepted it, embraced all of that, and just went on full course with that path. Because he's quite cold. At the end, you see him. So, well, this is the way it is. We're going to sleep with each other, and then this was going to happen. She's going to get the sack, and I'm going to come in as a writer. And there's no warmth or heart. This is the way the industry works, and it's just you just need to get used to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how horrible is that? Yeah, So, you starts to see it's not fun. It's not what you're doing it for, really. But the question is, if Jason Statham was in this movie, and I was thinking about this on the drive here. I was thinking the character that I think he'd play would be Stanley's character, right?
Do you think?
Yeah. But he's just there doing the work and all that sort of stuff. He's just there being a second hand. But what will happen is Andy's assistant will get kidnapped, and then it goes, and he'll be wearing some sort of Prada t-shirt or whatever, and he goes, "Yeah, the devil wears Prada."
I'm coming for you.
And he's the one who then goes out and realizes, oh, he can kick ass. You know what I mean? Who knew? He used to actually have this job as an assassin. But now
let's just quickly reimagine Devil Wears Prada, right?
Devil Wears Prada.
Right. So it starts off with Andy getting a job in that industry, and she keeps badgering him to like help dress her, and he's like, "No,
I can't do it. Keep your head down,
keep your head down, and all that kind of shit." And then she gets kidnapped because they mistake her for the other assistant for Miranda because they're trying to, and now Miranda's not. She's not asked because Andy was just only here for a few weeks or whatever, and now someone has to save her.
Yeah.
So then they didn't realise that he's ex-SAS.
He used to kick ass for a living. Yeah.
And he puts his measuring tape
clothes
down.
together.
Yeah, he puts that measuring tape down, and he grabs the phone and goes, "Boy, you don't understand.
Sometimes the devil wears Prada." That's it. Then all the music starts. It's like, and he goes kicking ass in the fashion industry, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Gets his belt, the little Versace belt,
and at the same time, he knows that he's going to get the job as that assistant or the co-director of this other company.
Yeah.
And then she says, "Now, fuck you," and he's like, "No, fuck you."
Yeah, and he just kicks ass, doesn't he? And then he finds out later that his boss actually is Miranda's quite corrupt.
Yeah, she's the one that...
she's actually doing... She's the one who sold her off for a debt or something, you know what I mean? And then he has to then have a final showdown with Miranda, you know what I mean? But all the goons surround him and he has to I never really liked you.
And then he just walk, like in First Blood Part 2 when Rambo just makes that lonely walk on his own. Yeah. And he says, "What are you going to do?" "I don't know."
Something else. And then later on, the Devil Wears Prada 2. The comeback.
No, it'd be like, "The Devil Wears Prada again."
Should have waited.
That's what he said to Andy. You know what? That's his line. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger has. "I'll be back." His one is like, I can't even say it.
You should have waited. Could work, It could work. Because all these movies are pretty much the same like that, yeah.
I'm just a tailor.
I'm just a working man. I just keep bees.
I love fashion.
I wasn't always a fashion designer. Oh, I love that guy. We have to review his movies soon.
One day, but not now. Until then, we'll reimagine all these other films that we did with Jason Statham.
Sometimes the Devil Wears Prada. Nice. I think we've got a hit, man.